If we're talking about a plate, let's deal with that firstly. In front of you, there is a file. If you could open that file at Exhibit E. And if you page to in that particular photo album at 118. Now, on photograph 118, do you recognize the plate?
That's correct, my lady. That's the plate that I investigated.
But you did not see it on the scene?
No, it was not. I did not investigate it on the scene. It came to the laboratory afterwards, and I received it at the laboratory on the 26th of April last year.
Now, you said on the 8th of March, when you went to the scene, when you went to the scene on the 8th of March, was the door in the toilet?
My lady, the door was not in the toilet or affixed to the frame of the toilet by the 8th of March. Captain Chris Mangena had possession of the door, and he brought it with him on that morning of the 8th of March. I assisted him in putting the door back into the frame, screwing it to the original holes in the door frame.
Which door are we talking about?
It's this door we're having here in court, ma'am.
So, what then happened as far as, let's deal with the plate. What did your investigations, what did your conclusions as far as the plate is concerned, what conclusions did you reach?
My lady, maybe I can just, before we get to that answer, I can just mention that my purpose for being on the scene on the 8th of March was just to accustom myself with the scene. I personally did not do any investigations on the scene. I just accustomed myself, and then I withdrew from the scene. On the 26th of April, I received the plate as well as the cricket bat, all sealed in evidence sealing bags from the forensic science, from the administration of the forensic science laboratory, and it was kept in my safekeeping under lock and key. Shortly after that, I opened the steel plate and had a look at the marks and the way the plate was bended to try and ascertain if I could determine the cause of the bending.
The results and the conclusions of your investigation as far as the plate is concerned, one will find in paragraph 9 of your report, is that correct?
That's correct, my lady. Paragraph 9.1, I mentioned that the steel plate got bent as a result of an object hitting or falling against the plate just to the right of the center of this plate. Furthermore, that I determined that the object had to be hard enough to cause a faint scratch in the surface of the plate. The scratch was more or less in a vertical position, following the contours of the bend on the right-hand side. If they can just assist here with indication there on the plate.
It's from the middle. From where it's bent?
On the right-hand side.
On the right-hand side.
There was a faint scratch in the where it's indicated now on the screen. It was, however, it was not very visible, and I had to inspect it under a microscope to actually see the scratch. From my investigations, it was not possible for me to ascertain the object or to determine what type of object was used or caused the bending of the plate.
Let us then go back to the door. You then, if I refer to paragraph 8, had an opportunity to see the door again.
That's correct, my lady. On the 30th of April last year, Captain Mangena called me and he said that he's busy with the investigation on the door and the door is available for me to inspect. And that was at the Forensic Science Laboratory at the ballistic section.
What happened then?
My lady, when I went to Captain Mangena downstairs at ballistics, he showed me the door again, and I saw two distinct marks, which immediately drew my attention when I had a look at it. You can see it's the marks.
Wait, we'll get a different album for you. If you go to the album that we've handed in, Y, let's open Y at 478. In that, the last document in that file that you have with you, would you just keep paging? See it there? The second photograph, 478. Those are the marks you're talking about.
Those are indeed the marks that I'm talking about, my lady. And if you would excuse me, just to step down and show you, indicate on the door there, the two marks.
Yes, go ahead.
The small one on the edge here is the one mark, and then I refer to the elongated one as the second mark.
We will do it on the photographs as well. For record purposes, one can see those two marks at photograph 478. Am I right?
That's correct, my lady.
And also in your report, photograph 2. That indicates the two marks that we're dealing with.
In my report, that is a close-up of the close-up picture of the two marks, my lady.
Okay. Photograph 2, my lady, is at page 6 of 13 of Y1. Page 6 in Y1, one will find photograph 2. Please. Yes, Colonel.
My lady, after inspecting the marks and comparing it with a cricket bat, I came to the conclusion that these are indeed consistent with being caused by hitting the door or bashing the door with a cricket bat.
Before we go there, you've described in paragraph 9.5 exactly where you found those two marks. Am I correct?
That's correct, my lady. I said in my report that the marks were present between 200 and 300 millimeters above the lock of the door, and the height from the floor is between 1,400 and 1,530 millimeters from the floor, measured directly from the floor below the marks.
Now, in your investigation, were you able to fit the bat into the mark?
That's correct, my lady. The investigation revealed that the cricket bat actually made a physical match with the marks, which is a undisputable confirmation that the bat was used to bash the door.
Now, if one refers to your report, Colonel, in photograph 3, of your report, page 7 of 13, my lady. And in the album, that would be 479. Is that how you fitted the bat to that specific mark one can see on the door?
That is correct, my lady. Obviously, it's not easy to take a proper picture because you only get it from one angle, but we can demonstrate it in court. I did bring the cricket bat with, and we can demonstrate a physical match between the bat and the door on that specific mark.
Do you have the bat with you?
I do have the bat with me.
Can you just pick it up? Can you just describe the bat? What's the name of the bat?
It's a laser English Willow Club Plus cricket bat.
On the bat, on the face of the bat, what do you find there?
My lady, there's a couple of signatures. I suspect it's from well-known people. I do not know the signatures, but there's a couple of signatures on the face of the bat.
That's the bat you received?
That's the bat that I received on the 26th of April.
My lady, I beg leave to hand this in as Exhibit 1.
Exhibit 1.
Indeed.
Yes, it shall be so marked.
Court pleases. So, you then fitted that bat to the door, and you also established the angle of how it was hit.
That's correct, my lady.
Now, you deal with it in paragraph 9.8 of your report.
That's correct, my lady.
And photograph 4, page 8 of 13 of your report, indicates the angle.
That's correct, my lady. That is the angle of the bat when it was used to make the smaller mark of the two.
My lady, may I beg leave that the witness leave the witness box and demonstrate to court?
Yes. You may
My lady, and if you'd permit me, I would like to take off my jacket just to be easier. Thank you, my lady. My lady, the bat made a physical match with the door in this position, which indicated to me that the person hitting the door had to be somewhere around here when he hit it.
May I put that on record, my lady, to the best of my ability? The witness is standing next to the door, right side more to his left side more towards the wall, and he's hitting the ball. Would you, if you were hitting from where you're standing, just hit?
If I was hitting, it would have been there.
Okay. Just do that again. The witness is standing upright. He hasn't moved his position, and he's hit. The mark that he would hit the bat is, and I have a measuring tape available. Lady, may I beg the court's leave that somebody just measure it for us?
Yes, please go.
This is Captain Colonel Ian van der Nest. My lady, as the witness, between the, I think you'll need more assistance. May I beg leave for more people to just assist with doing it. How high would that be?
Maybe it must approximately be 1.85 meters high.
The mark that we have is how high?
The mark that we have is 1.53 meters high.
Okay.
My lady, I don't want to be out of place, because perhaps I am, but maybe just to curtail the proceedings, whilst he's showing that in its mark, maybe he can just stand further back as well, that we can get different marks, if Mr. Nell would assist us. I mean, further back from the door. and maybe get all the measurements. That would assist later on. I'm meaning further back, my lady.
Further than that.
Further back.
Further,
No, no, further to me. Can you reach it? You reach it there.
that is 1.75, my lady.
But, Colonel, just go back, and I want you to hold the bat in the angle of the shot that we have on the door. Okay. That's the angle of the bat.
That's correct, my lady.
Now, if you stand upright, is it comfortable to hit there? How?
My lady, if I stand upright and I'm 1.79 meters tall, then it would have been, I would have been in a kind of an uncomfortable position, not a natural position, to be able to have the bat in this. Even if I stood further away from the door, it would have been in a very uncomfortable, unnatural position for me.
But, Colonel, whilst you're standing there, just lower yourself. And if you're that, then now, may I, with leave of the court, ask that the shoulder height of the colonel be measured as he is there, because you make contact with the place where it's hit.
Between 1.24 and 1.25.
Okay, 1.24 and 1.25. Now, lady, we have a photograph to show that. Photograph 484A, my lady, of Y. That is a different shot. No, that's not that one. No. I will deal with the photographs. So that is the first mark on the door.
I suspect it is the first mark, my lady. I would not be able to say whether it's the first or the second mark, but it's one of the two marks that I investigated.
We're not saying first
When
shot
you
or
say
second
first,
shot, we're saying first
We're
mark.
not talking about the sequence.
Yes, my lady.
Okay, let's call that the first mark.
That's correct, my lady.
Can we deal with the second mark on the door, paragraph 9.9?
My lady, again, the second mark, the cricket bat actually made a physical match on the second mark as well. But the orientation of the person that hit the door was a little bit different from the orientation that we saw in the first instance. And if you allow me, I will explain it to you again in reality. With the second mark, the person hitting the door was probably standing in front of the door, whereas opposed to the first mark, it was kind of standing parallel to the door.
Then,
with this shot, the bat actually went through the door and caused an opening here in the panel. You will see the design of this door is such that it has a frame on the outside and a loose panel on the inside. The bat went through the door, and there's actually marks on the toe of the bat which correspond with what happened here, where the bat went through the door, and these marks were created when the person kind of twisted the bat to break open the panel while the bat was through the door.
okay, if you just return, let's see if we can get it on record. In paragraph 9.9, you indicate how you fitted the bat to mark number 2.
That is correct, my lady.
And we'll deal with 2 things. Let's first deal with this shot to the door. Did it leave marks on the bat as well?
Indeed, my lady, it left marks on the bat as well. And in this photograph 483, you can see the vertical lines on the one side. That is the back side of the bat. And it's in fact a very distinct indentation present on the bat there.
If you run your finger across it there, you can feel there's an indentation.
You can very well feel the indentation on that side of the bat.
Now, also, that's 483, and it's also photograph number 7 in your report, page 11 of 13, Y1.
That's correct, my lady.
Now, let us first explain everything, and then we'll explain how the marks got there. Now, on that side of the bat, there's an indentation. Is there any marks on the face side of the bat?
On the face of the bat, my lady, this is the side with a distinct indentation. On the face side of the bat, I think you will be able to see the marks, kind of reddish colored marks on the face of the bat, which has the same angle as the indentation on the back side of the bat.
My lady, just to make sure we have it on the record, it's Y1, photograph 8, 12 of 13 of Y1, my lady.
Did you say photograph 8?
It's photograph 8, my lady, in the report Y1.
Yes, thank you.
And can we then photograph 484, that's the one we have on the screen at the moment, 484 of Y, my lady. Are those the marks that one can see there, the toe of the bat?
That's indeed the marks, my lady.
Now, you were able to physically fit the bat using the marks on the bat and using the marking on the door to get angle.
That's correct, my lady. There's actually 2 characteristics that made me conclude that the angle of the bat was as I described it. The one is the fact that, and if you don't mind me to step down again, the one was when the bat went through the door, the shape here actually formed an exact physical match with the face of the bat. And at that angle, the marks on the side of the bat, that is the second characteristic that made me to believe that the bat was in this position when it went through the door. So the marks on either side confirmed my suspicion, and it also confirmed the physical match that the bat made when it went through the door.
Okay.
I can also expand on the indentation and this mark on this side.
Can we just move back and then do it there? If you explain why there's an indentation on the one side and not on the other.
The indentation on the one side, and that is the back side of the bat, which was in contact with the frame of the door. I'm not talking about the physical door frame, but I explained to you that the door has got the frame with a panel inside. The indentation was on the side of the frame of the door, which was a solid structure, whereas the opposite side of the bat was to the side of the panel. And when the twisting action was done, there was a greater force from the side of the frame which caused the indentation.
Where the mark is, in terms of the weakest point in the door, where is that the mark 2 that we're talking about?
Mark 2 is actually on the weakest point of the panel, as the panel, as you can see there, has got beveled edges. And that is to fit inside the frame of the door. And that was actually the weakest point of that panel, and that is why it was possible to hit the bat through the door.
Then again, whilst doing it, you also worked with angles of the bat.
That's correct, my lady.
If we could have 484, can I refer you to the photo album, photograph 484. That is the angle of the bat, 4848.
That's correct, my lady.
That's the angle of the bat.
That's correct, my lady.
There you're not standing upright.
No, I'm squatted down to actually get my hands in a natural position, holding the handle of the bat in the angle that the physical evidence on the bat indicated to me.
And one can see at 484C that's how you stood, and you're not standing upright.
No, I'm not standing upright, my lady.
And perhaps you've got better eyes than I do. But is it possible for you to read the measurements as at your shoulder height there?
My lady, my eyes are as bad as his. I think there's a better picture with where we can see the exact
And you're right,
measurement.
484D, you're right.
There we go.
125, 124, 125.
It's more or less, I would say, 1.2425 meters from the floor level, my lady.
Colonel, when did you do these tests?
My lady, as I reported earlier, or as I said in my report earlier, initially I was only requested to determine if there was any marks on the door that could relate to the cricket bat or vice versa. And while I was busy doing that investigation, I did, for completeness sake, also recorded the angles that I witnessed there. That was done in April, if I'm correct, in April last year. Let me just get back to that
30th of
date.
April. It's paragraph.
Yeah, 30th of April last year, my lady.
Yeah.
Maybe just on that, my lady, that the angles was not recorded in my statement which I wrote at that stage, as it was not part of the investigation. It was not part of the request that came to me. But I just added that to my notes. Actually, not notes. I recorded on photos here, just for completeness sake.
So those photographs were taken at the time that you did your tests, on 30th of April.
These photographs were taken when I did my investigation, my lady.
Now, at that time, when you did your investigation, did you know what the shoulder height of the accused would be without these prostheses on?
My lady, I knew that he would be considerably shorter than what he would be with his prosthesis, but I was not privy to the information on measurements done on Mr. Pistorius at the time that I did the investigation.
Do you know now?
Subsequently, the end of last year, I think it was somewhere in November, I had the first consultation with Mr. Nell regarding my statement, and I just mentioned it as a side note to him that the marks on the door is actually consistent with him not having his legs on, and I suspect it must be similar to the height that he was when he fired the shots.
And did you then establish what his height was?
Only then, in November last year, I saw the first measurements of Mr. Pistorius without his legs.
And that was?
That was also in the, if I remember correctly, the shoulder height was 1.25 meters high. On the 26th of April, I received the plate as well as the cricket bat, all sealed in evidence sealing bags from the forensic science, from the administration of the forensic science laboratory, and it was kept in my safekeeping under lock and key. Shortly after that, I opened the steel plate and had a look at the marks and the way the plate was bended to try and ascertain if I could determine the cause of the bending.
The results and the conclusions of your investigation as far as the plate is concerned, one will find in paragraph 9 of your report, is that correct?
That's correct, my lady. Paragraph 9.1.
118. Now, on photograph 118, do you recognize the plate?
That's correct, my lady. That's the plate that I investigated.
But you did not see it on the scene?
No, it was not. I did not investigate it on the scene. It came to the laboratory afterwards, and I received it at the laboratory on the 26th of April last year.
Now, you said on the 8th of March, when you went to the scene, when you went to the scene on the 8th of March, was the door in the toilet?
My lady, the door was not in the toilet or affixed to the frame of the toilet by the 8th of March. Captain Chris Mangena had possession of the door, and he brought it with him on that morning of the 8th of March. I assisted him in putting the door back into the frame, screwing it to the original holes in the door frame.
Which door are we talking about?
It's this.
If we're talking about a plate, let's deal with that firstly. In front of you, there is a file. If you could open that file at Exhibit E. And if you page to in that particular photo album at one
Door we're having here in court, ma'am.
So what then happened as far as, let's deal with the plate. What did your investigations, what did your conclusions as far as the plate is concerned, what conclusions did you reach?
My lady, maybe I can just, before we get to that answer, I can just mention that my purpose for being on the scene on the 8th of March was just to accustom myself with the scene. I personally did not do any investigations on the scene. I just accustomed myself, and then I withdrew from the scene.